everyone, it's Rachel from Wild Backyard Soaps. Welcome to my backyard in this lovely evening. After many years of being asked by friends how to make bath bombs, I finally decided to just make a video about it. So here goes. I'm just going to jump right in. I got my dry ingredients already mixed up, and the biggest thing about this is you just want to make sure that there's no big clumps so that way it can evenly mix. And then I already have my wet ingredients ready to go as well. And this particular batch, I decided to make coffee. And I pretty much stick with all natural with my bath bombs. So this is just coffee essential oil, and for a 10 bath bomb batch, which is what this recipe is for, I'm using half an ounce of coffee essential oil. So that's just about the right amount of liquid that you want, and it still produces a nice scent. So this is all natural ingredients, and I'm not going to do any extra colorings to this either. So once you have your dry and your wet stuff mixed, you are ready to combine, and you just want to work quickly because the citric acid reacts with a baking soda, and you want to save as much of that reaction as possible for when you're actually dropping it in the tub, so it'll be a nice fizzy bomb, right? So you don't want too much of that reaction to happen ahead of time. Okay, so you're just going to work quick. So it can take a few minutes to get it fully incorporated and work out any last chunks so that way it looks nice and smooth. I've tweaked this recipe multiple times to try to get it to the perfect consistency and to get it to make 10 bath bombs, because I like this 10 bath bomb mold set from Bulk Apothecary. It's only $5 plus tax and shipping, and I'm not an affiliate with them at the point of this recording, but I just really like these because they're easy to use and you don't have to buy a fancy expensive bath bomb press or any of those other things, and they're flexible, they're reusable. So this is my 10 bath bomb recipe. Now, how I can tell that this is about right is you give it a squeeze and it's holding its form. So that means we are about right. If you feel like it's slightly dry and not really holding that well, you can have a squirt bottle nearby and just give it a light spritz. That way you're not getting too much of one area wet and reacting. You're just barely getting a little extra moisture in there. So this is feeling pretty good right now. You don't want it too dry because then it can crumble later, or like the two halves will fall apart from each other, which is what a lot of people complain about. There are tons of other bath bomb recipes out there or fancy designs, but I really like keeping this simple in these round molds. And I don't even add any coloring to them anymore. Literally just essential oils and a fun little decoration. Okay, this is feeling really good and ready to go. So you can do it as is. You can add some fun colors or mix-ins if you want. I'm going to show you just a few of my examples of this. The cows are still here, so they're moving like crazy. This is my cozy conifer bath bomb. This one has some rosemary needles in it for decoration, so I just put this down in the bottom of the one side and then you quickly drop some on top, so I'll show you how to do that. But this is a nice blend of vetiver, cedarwood, rosemary, pine, balsam, and black spruce. At least that's my blend as of right now. I tweak it sometimes, but this is what I like to call cozy conifer, and I feel like those rosemary needles look really pretty in it. Then we have the blissful bouquet, which has some lavender buds in it, and this is just a blend of some different floral essential oils, and some floral essential oils can be especially expensive, and so if you have to get some dilutions, that's okay. It still smells nice, and it's still at least from the actual flower. Two of my all-time favorites, and what everybody else really seems to love, is my zesty mint, which is just a little dehydrated key lime, so it's just the right size to slice up and dehydrate and put in the end. And depending on my mood, I either just do spearmint and lime because that is like my all-time favorite blend. Or I'll also add in some tea tree and eucalyptus and a little peppermint, a little lemon. So yeah, that's kind of a fun zesty blend to do. And then the other one that everyone really loves is spiced citrus. You can do cinnamon bark essential oil, but that one tends to be stronger and burn a little bit. Or you can do cinnamon leaf oil, burns less, still smells nice, and it's cheaper. And then orange essential oil. And sometimes that's all I do is just those two. But this particular one, I added in some cardamom and nutmeg too. You just don't want to do too much of those because they can be slightly irritant for the skin as well. And then I added some grapefruit to this one. And cassia, which is similar to cinnamon. So yeah, those are just a few other fun ideas for the one we're doing today. You need a soup spoon, and we're going to put coffee beans, just a few down in the bottom. If you pile too much up in the end, not all of it is going to stick to the bath bomb material, and then they'll just end up falling out and making a mess, and you've wasted it. So if you want it to not slide around in the bottom, you kind of have to slam in that first part and push it down to ensure that it's going to stay. And I've done this so many times that I just kind of have a technique down, but you want to push it nice and firm and smooth right to the lip of this side of the bath bomb. So I'll bring it closer so you can see here in just a second. So right up to the lip on that. And the other half of the mold has kind of an indentation, so you only want to fill it up to this second line. The other part is just to combine the two halves together. So this part I feel like is a little bit harder to get perfectly smooth and right at the level that you want it. But once you unmold, if it's not perfect, you can brush off that edge pretty easily. I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. Okay, so that half is done. So I got it to the lower level. So now we're going to combine these two halves together, and I put the circles just slightly off center, because that's going to make it easier to grab those two pieces for when you unmold it. So you have to let this sit at least 12 hours to fully harden before you can unmold it. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute, and I'm going to show you one that I already did yesterday. And this is just one little trick that I do to help open these easier. This is from my bread machine. It's like the little hook that's supposed to grab the paddles and pull them out. So I just stick this in one of the holes and then grab the other tab, and it helps pull the two halves together a little easier. Except my hands are all greasy from this batch. Okay, there we go. So there's unmolded after 24 hours, so it's super hard, and my daughter grabs these and plays with them and loves to help me unmold them, and she totally drops them and throws them like several feet, and they don't even break. So they're pretty good and strong, I would say. So this is just kind of brushing around that edge. If it's not perfectly smooth, that's okay. And then if you want to seal these up so that way they're not getting crumbs everywhere and so the scent lasts longer, I like to use these 5x6 round shrink bags. If I can find the link to this, I will go and put that in the description as well. So you'll get the link for the bulk apothecary bath bomb molds and these shrink wrap bags. Okay, there you go. I'm very powdery, so I got it here. Then it slides nice and easy in there. And if you want the decoration to shine, make sure that your seam for the bag lines up with the seam for the bath bomb. And then I would highly recommend getting something like this heat sealer. I don't have it plugged in right now because my outlet's not close enough. But you basically, if you can see that from here, you hold the bag right here. And then you set the little knob on the side for just a few seconds. Like, I think mine's set on like 5 seconds. And then you hold it down and it kind of melts it. And then you slowly pull it away and that extra piece of plastic comes off. And then you have your bath bomb sealed. However, it's still crinkly and loose. So after that, then you just take a blow dryer and blow dry it on high heat for just like 10 seconds, and that will just help shrink the whole thing up, and then it's sealed and ready to go. And then you can put a little label on the outside if you want. For my own personal use, I don't bother with labels because the decoration lets me know exactly which one it is that I made. However, for when I sell them, I put a little label around the outside that has the title plus the ingredients that are in it, just in case. So you have to kind of work quickly with this. Like, I don't want these to sit here too long. This material will start to harden up. So I'm just gonna do a few more of these. Even though I can't handle the caffeine, I love the smell. Except when I'm pregnant, then it makes me feel like super sick. But yeah. So I'm going to unmold these tomorrow. But in the meantime, let's give one of the other ones a test and see how it fizzes. And thank you so much for subscribing and supporting small businesses like mine. Hope to see you next time. Spice citrus. So if these are bath bombs, I should be dropping them in from way up here, right? Bombs away! And it's still fizzing, and it's been over a minute, so that is great. I think these are a success. Next